Hello everyone, very good morning. My name is Arun Kumar and I am again in front of you to discuss another topic in AZ-900 Azure Fundamental Certification. And this topic is going to be regarding the pricing, the costing that uh, Azure incur on its customer, like on what basis on what basis costing is done. So this is very important from the point of perspective at every level in the organization. Like if you are a developer, you should know if I'm developing this application, I'm using these services, then how much I will have to pay to Azure. And of course, your manager will also want to know that I'm implementing this project. So how much billing organization have to pay to Azure for implementing this solution? Or people who are financing your technical needs, okay, they should also know that I'm going to implement this project, so how much money do I need to pay? Okay, so on what factors actually these billings depend? So today I'm going to talk around that. This is one of the most important thing that a person working on cloud, or or a person who is trying to implement their project on cloud, they should know. Okay, so I have prepared one PPT. I will take you through that PPT. Let me open that PPT in front of you, and then, okay, then we will see like what all factors are there actually. Uh, what all factors are there on which this billing depends. So actually, the billing, as you all know, that there are two kinds of model. There are two kinds of model that are present. One is this capital expense. Let me change the pointer and then let me explain you after marking the things. You see, one is called capital expenditure, capital expense, that is called capex, and another one is called operational expense, that is called opex. Capital expense is like setting up your on-premise center, on-premise data center, or in which your servers are present, right? In which your servers are present, you need to buy every component, every hardware component to build that infrastructure. So that is nothing but capital expense or capital expenditure, in which you invest your money, in which you invest your capital to build that infrastructure. Now next comes the operational expense. In this operational expense, you don't invest money in building the infrastructure. Infrastructures are already built. Like here, the infrastructure is built by Azure infrastructure, or you can say, I'm with this term infrastructure which I'm using, I'm trying to say that infrastructure means, here in this, at this point of time, infrastructure means data center. So here we take these infrastructures on rent from any cloud platforms like Azure or AWS. Here I'm talking about Azure. We take infrastructure on rent from Azure, and we use those infrastructure, and we pay only for that. And that's why I have written that rent. So this is operational expense, that is we pay only for what we consume. And that's why this kind of, in opex, Azure follows pay as you go model. Means operational expense means you will have to pay whatever, how much Azure resources you are using. And this pay module is in pay as you go model, that is you will have to pay whatever you consume. Now the this OPEX basically depends on this OPEX on in Azure Cloud Platform. Operational cost in Azure Cloud Platform actually depends on many kinds of factors. And those factors are resource type, like what kind of resource you are using. Again, we'll be coming in deep in each of these types, that what all things comes under this. First of all, let's see on what factors does this billing depend. So first one is resource type, then we have this consumption, then we have this maintenance, then we have this geography, then we have this subscription type, and then we have this Azure marketplace. Now let's get into each of them one by one. So the first one is resource type. Okay, so there are many kinds of resource that are present in Azure cloud. So whatever resources you will be using, you will be charged based on that. Like suppose if you are using Azure SQL database, okay, Azure SQL database, so you will be charged based on how much you use this SQL database. Like the pricing model of this SQL database is different, right? The pricing model of this SQL database is different. Now we have something called Azure Data Lake. Okay, when you will be using Azure Data Lake, then the pricing will be different, right? When you will be using Azure Data Factory, then the pricing will be different. So there are different resources. Based on resources, you will be basically charged. Like what kind of resource you are using, based on that you will be charged. This is the one thing. Now the next point is this consumption. Of course, as I said that Azure is based on pay as you go model. Pay as you go model. It means you'll have to pay only only for the consumption that you have done for that particular resource. Okay, so you will have to pay only for the consumption that you have done for the particular resource. Here also I have written pay as you go, and this is one of the model. The another model is this is pay as you go. The another way is you can the another way is called reserved resource. In reserved resource, actually what we do in this, we fix at the beginning only that we will be using. We commit to Azure cloud at the beginning only that I will be using this much of resource, and please charge me for this much of resource. Okay, so we commit at the beginning only that we will be consuming this much of resource. So that's why its name has been given as reserved resources. At the beginning of the at the beginning only this commitment is made by the user that I'll be using this much of resource. Okay, so if this kind of commitment is made, if this kind of commitment is made at the beginning, or we can say that if we are committing, it means we are asking Azure to keep this much resources aside for me. Okay, so that's why here it is called as reserved resource. And if we are doing such kind of commitment, then Azure also offers some kind of discount over it. If we are committing at the beginning only that we will be using this much resource, then in some cases Azure gives up to 72% discount. Okay, so this much heavy discount Azure gives if we have reserved some resources from the beginning only, that at least we will be using this much of your resource. If we commit to Azure, Azure gives discount also. We don't need to worry. You might think that if we have reserved the resource and if in future the workload increases, then what will happen? So you don't need to worry actually. The load increases, then what will happen? You no need to worry. If the load increases in future, uh, you can scale up your Azure infrastructure. You will be charged based on how much you are scaling. Okay. So this is another point. Now let me move towards another point. Now the another thing is this maintenance. So of course, like you are charged based on the maintenance of resources that Azure is doing. Like you have your laptop, right? You keep on updating the antivirus. You keep on deleting the files, the unused files. You keep on installing the patches in your laptop. I mean, different Microsoft patches that Microsoft sends. I mean, different Microsoft updates that Microsoft sends to your laptop, right? So you keep on doing those things by yourself. But what if there is a big data center, right? In which you have kept multiple, suppose you have set up an on-premise data center and there are multiple computers on that. So who will be maintaining those things? So of course you need to assign people, right? Align people to maintain all the servers that you have in your data center, right? So that is a separate maintenance cost. So the same kind of costing is taken by cloud providers as well, because they need to do maintenance of their server, right? So for the maintenance, they also charge us. Okay, so this is another point. Now, another very important point is geography. Suppose there is Azure SQL database. I'm just taking an example. Okay. So the billing or the pricing really depends on in which region you are deploying that database. Suppose you are deploying that database in US. So pricing for that will be different. If you are deploying your database in any European region, the pricing for that will be different. So it really depends that in which region you are deploying your resource. So geography is a very important thing to consider here. I mean, to think when we think about the pricing model in Azure Cloud. Also, like suppose two location are there, okay? Like suppose Europe is there and suppose here North America is there, okay? Or you can say that here I am taking Europe and here I am taking Asia, okay? If I'm moving my data from SQL database, Azure SQL database, which is present in Europe region, okay, suppose there is a case in which I'm moving my data from Azure SQL database, which is in Europe, okay, to Azure SQL database, which is present in Asia, okay, like in Asia, suppose that it is present in India. So if we're doing that kind of data movement, okay, so in this, if you're moving my data from Europe to Asia, then in this case also my charges will be higher in comparison to when I'm moving my data from Europe to Europe. Okay, in comparison to when I'm moving my data from Europe to Europe. Suppose from UK I'm moving my data to Scotland, okay, or Germany. So both are in Europe. So if I'm doing this kind of movement, then in this case the costing will be less. But if I'm doing my data movement from Europe to Asia, then in this case the charges will be very, I mean charges will be high compared to the when I'm moving my data from Europe to Europe. Okay. So this is also one of the factors. So there are two things like where your resources are deployed. This is one of the factor. How your data is moving like from one region to another region. I mean, is it moving in the same region or is it moving across other regions? So on all these factors, actually, these pricing models depend. Now, one by one, we are seeing all the pricing models, and as I said, this is very important perspective, and you should really know that how these pricing models actually depend. Now, now there is something called network traffic. This is there is something called network traffic, and on these network traffics also actually uh, the Azure billing depends. When I'm talking about network traffic, let's suppose there is Azure data center and your data is moving, okay? Your data is moving out of this Azure data center, okay? Azure data center. This is Azure data center, okay? Suppose this is your Azure data center. Let me create this box here. And there are two things when data is coming inside your data center and when data is going outside from your data center. This is my data center, right? Suppose this is my data center. Okay. So this is called inbound and this is called outbound. Okay. This is called outbound. Okay. Outbound. Here I am writing outbound. I am writing from my mouse. That's why I'm not able to write very clearly. So just understand that I am writing here outbound. This is outbound. Okay. Okay. So this is inbound and this is outbound and And when data moves inside Azure data center, then that is called as inbound. And when data moves outside Azure data center, then that is called as outbound. Okay. So for inbound and outbound operation, for both the operations, actually the pricing differs. Okay. So this is also one of the important thing, that network traffic. Okay. So how much data is moving in inside Azure data center, how much data is moving outside of Azure data center. On that basis also pricing impacts. Now the next topic we have is the subscription type. Like I mean, as we know, there are many kind of subscription types in Azure, and there are many kinds of subscription types in Azure, and uh, based on those subscription type, actually the billing depends. Like if I talk about subscription type, then we have like this free trial option. Like in free trial option, what happens with credit card or debit card, you take 30 days of 30 days of subscription. Just allow me 1 minute. My charger is my battery is going to die. So let me connect the charger. I have connected the charger. Okay. So in this, if we take pay as you, I mean free trial, then in that free trial you are given 30 days of free subscription. Okay. Or 200 US dollars of credit, whichever you consume first, your your free trial will be over. So this I am talking about free trial. In free trial, what happens? In free trial, actually, this happens. Okay. In free trial, actually, this happens. So this is one thing. Now, if you go for pay as you go model, okay, here I went for free trial. If you go pay as you go model, then you are charged on, what you are using, right? So it is really depending that what subscription type you are using, and based on that subscription type you are charged. Okay, one more thing I want to highlight here in this free trial. Okay, few services are always free in Azure portal, whether you are using this free trial or whether you are using pay as you go. Few services are free for 12 months, few services are always free, and few services are always free, and few services are paid. Okay, few services are always paid. Okay, always paid. So based on which service you are using, okay, based on that, I mean, what kind of service you are using, 12 month, always free or always paid, based on that basically you are charged. If I have already shown these things in my previous video, like what all services are free and what all services are not free. So I'll not be going in deep dive into that, but just know that few services are free for 2 months, few services are always free, and few services are always paid. Now we have something called Azure Marketplace. This Azure Marketplace is a place in Azure portal where third party third party softwares are present. Okay, third party softwares are third party softwares are present. This is a place where third party softwares are present in Azure platform, where from where you can buy any third party software, uh, third party software for your uses. Like let me show you. Okay, my Azure portal is not open right now. Okay, it is open, I think. Let me click here. Let me go to this home page and let me show you. Okay, let me search for Azure Marketplace here. Azure Marketplace. Okay, this one. This is this marketplace. Okay, as you can see, I am opening this, and here we have many kind of third-party softwares that are available that you can use. As you can see, there are many third-party softwares that are available. You see, these are third-party softwares like Twilio, SendGrid. This is a email delivery Email delivery SaaS based product, software as a service, SaaS based product that is a third party. This is a third party product that has been kept into Azure platform, and you can use this. There are many other kind of third party softwares that are available here in this marketplace. If you want to use any one of them, you can use. Here the pricings are also given that if you will use this software, then how much money you will have to pay actually. Okay. So these are nothing but the pricing models that are these are nothing but the pricing models. I mean, not pricing model. These are nothing but this was nothing but Azure marketplace in which many third-party softwares are present, which you want, if you want, you can use. So you will be charged for any third-party softwares also, okay, that you will be using that is kept into Azure marketplace. So these are few of the major points, and these are the official, I mean, points that I am giving to you. These are points from the Microsoft Azure documentation. So if any of these kind of questions are asked in your Microsoft AZ-900 certification, you have to confidently answer the questions based on what we are discussing, because these I am creating these contents by going through the Microsoft documentation only. So you can 100% rely on that. Okay. I'll be coming up with more and more videos, and soon we will be completing this Microsoft AZ-900 series question, my series videos, and in this channel I'll be going very deep dive. Like I'm trying to focus on these YouTube videos and give free content to all of you for your learning purpose, so that it reaches to the maximum people. So this is what actually my goal is. So stay connected with this channel, and I'll be increasing my focus on this channel, and I'll be giving a lot of quality content to all of you for your learning purpose. So do subscribe to my channel and do share it with your friends, and do like this video. Thank you so much everyone. Bye. Take care.